Welcome to the Secret Agenda YouTube channel. We're in the 9th month of the Ukraine-Russia war, which has affected the world socio-economically and politically. In this war, in which the Ukrainian heroes show an example of the struggle for freedom, the balances are slowly starting to change. With the approach of the winter season, Europe's eyes and ears are on the developments in Ukraine. The continued threatening policies of the Russians to make a gain further enraged the Kiev government and the Ukrainian army. Zelensky's braves, who aim to limit the field of operation of the Ukrainian forces in Ukraine, intensified their counterattacks with each passing day. When we look at the current situation, we see that the Russian troops are stuck, especially in the southern fronts of Ukraine. The simultaneous dawn operations of the Ukrainian armed forces are of great importance in regaining the dominance of this region. The Russian army is fleeing from military bases and positions in Kherson as the only chance against the oppressive attacks. Vladimir Putin, on the other hand, plans to mass the mobilized Russian soldiers in the Kherson region in order to prevent this situation. But Putin's move is tantamount to suicide for the mobilized Russian soldiers who lack military training. Ukrainian leader Zelensky, on the other hand, wants to concentrate the attacks in this region, considering the situation of the Russian forces in Kherson. In the last week, this request of the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, has been put into practice. Ukrainian fighters launched another dawn operation against Kherson. In Kherson, where the Himars reenacted, Zelensky's heroes blew up the pier near the Antonovsky Bridge. 6 consecutive Himars missile attacks by Ukrainian artillery units sent the pier, located near the Antonovsky Bridge, to the bottom of the water. The shocking footage of this attack broke records on social media. When you look at the images, you'll see that the waters around the pier hit by the Himars missiles rise up to the top of the Antonovsky Bridge during this attack, in which the Ukrainian artillery targeted the Russian barges. When Himars missiles blew up the pier, Russian forces in this area were forced to flee, fearing another Ukrainian attack. As a result of the attack, Russian barges in this region were also badly damaged. In the photos taken, it's understood that some of the Russian barges have become unusable. The purpose of the attacks of the Ukrainian troops was to block the passage of an equipped barge, and also to blow up a pier located near the bridge. Thanks to this dawn operation, Zelensky's army was able to achieve both goals and intimidate the Moscow administration. The Ukrainian armed forces, especially thanks to the US-made Himars, do not let the invading troops not only in Kherson but on all fronts. The US government has made another shocking development regarding Himars, which is among the weapons that the Russian army is most afraid of. The Pentagon has officially announced that Ukraine has received 38 Himars multiple launch rocket systems from the United States. Considering the 11 M270 MLRS multiple launch rocket systems supplied from the UK and Italy, and the 5 Mars 2 rocket systems supplied by Germany to Ukraine, the number of these Himars sent by the Pentagon to the Kiev government is quite remarkable. Until recently, Washington reported that only 24 Himars launchers were in service in Ukraine, but such figures turned out to be misleading, possibly in order to influence the course of the war. The current official report of the Pentagon revealed that Ukraine has already received 38 Himars MLRS. The U.S. government also noted that by the end of this year, it's quite possible to supply the Ukrainian army with additional MLRS. The fact that the Ukrainian army has strengthened its inventory in this way also shows its effect in the conflicts, especially the US-made NASAMS air defense systems and AGM-88 anti-radiation harm missiles are just some of the military equipment that ravaged the Russian army. Ukraine, on the other hand, continues to use this advantage very well so far. Zelensky's heroes had once again targeted the Antonovsky Bridge in Kherson in recent weeks to further their dominance in Kherson. Leader Zelensky's insistence on Kherson caused the Ukrainian warriors to intensify their attacks in this region. Russian authorities reported that Ukrainian forces attacked the Antonovsky Bridge on the Dnipro River in the Kherson region with 12 Himars missiles, killing at least 4 people and injuring 13. Russian air defense units shot down 11 of the missiles, but one of the Ukrainian heroes' missiles hit the Antonovsky Bridge, which was used to cross Dnipro in the Russian-occupied territory. As a result of these attacks by the Ukrainian warriors, the number of dead and wounded could not be officially confirmed. It is reported that the Russian forces passed Dnipro and advanced toward the left bank to escape. Kirill Stremisov, deputy head of the administration in the Kherson region, announced that a woman and 3 men were among the dead. But as we mentioned, these figures have not been officially confirmed. After the attack, the Minister of Health of the Kherson region, Vadim Ilmiev, said 13 people were injured. Everyone's situation is different. There are severe cases. They have had surgery. So far, they cannot be transplanted in one day. After that, the necessity of transportation to the Crimea will be decided. In the next few days, the Russian administration began evacuating nearly 60,000 civilians to other Russian-occupied areas via the Dnieper. The region's governor, appointed by the Russian administration, Vladimir Saldo, said the evacuation was necessary as Ukraine was gathering forces for a large-scale attack, and Russia wanted to protect its citizens. Kirill Stremasov said about 15,000 residents, following the advice of the leadership of the Kherson region, moved to the left bank of Kherson. After all these developments, the Ukrainian heroes moved southeast from Mykolaiv towards an area over which the Russians had little control. Thereupon, the Russian troops west of Nikopol moved south to the northeast of Kherson. Recent developments in the region indicate that Ukraine is getting closer to regaining control of the city. The shocking decision came to the fore again for the Russians, who did not hesitate to commit war violations in the face of the legendary advances of the Ukrainian heroes. On November 14th, the United Nations General Assembly will vote on a bill to hold Russia, which has invaded Ukraine, responsible for violating international law. If this bill is approved in the UN General Assembly, the damage and losses caused by Russia will be documented internationally, and the Moscow administration will be fully responsible for this situation. The bill proposed by Canada, Guatemala, the Netherlands, and Ukraine also includes Russia paying compensation to Ukraine. UN General Assembly spokesperson Paulina Kubiak stated that the bill to be voted on November 14th will not be discussed in the Assembly, but countries that wish can make a statement. The UN Security Council also took initiatives against Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but due to Moscow's veto, no resolution could be taken against the invasion of Ukraine. Although countries do not have the right to veto the UN General Assembly, resolutions are not binding. The UN General Assembly called for a ceasefire to Moscow on March 2nd after Russia invaded Ukraine, demanding the Russian administration to withdraw its troops and protect civilians. With this decision on March 24th, the board again called for a ceasefire, blaming Russia for the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. On the 7th of April, the UN General Assembly voted to remove Russia from the Human Rights Council, and the resolution was adopted. However, there were more abstentions than other votes. Finally, on October 12th, the UN General Assembly condemned Russia's annexation of 4 regions in Ukraine. Russia, which has been cornered in every way, has entered a period of convulsions on the territory of Ukraine. One of the most important factors affecting the course was the increasing pressure of the Ukrainian heroes, as the conditions of the war became increasingly harsh for the Russians. In the future, their impact seems to increase gradually. Of course, we will witness this process together. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications in order to be informed about new videos. Thank you for watching us.